three problems to consider here. We're talking about combining like terms. What a like term is when you have something that's added or subtracted, a term, that has a variable that is raised to the same letter raised to the same exponent on each of those terms. So here we have x to the third and x to the third. They're separated by a minus sign, so these are like terms. Because we have the same variable to the same exponent, we are going to pull that to the side. And what we have here is 18 minus 4. Add the coefficients, subtract the coefficients, gives us 14x to the third. Make your handwriting somewhat neat so you can tell what's the coefficient and what's the exponent. Over here, we're going to check first to see, do we have like terms? We have the letter y, letter y, letter y. Good so far. Exponent, not written, assumed 1. Not written, assumed 1. Not written, assumed 1. They all have the same letter, same exponent on that letter. So we are going to combine the coefficients by adding and subtracting, and we're going to leave the letter with the same exponent that it has. So we have 5 plus 7 minus 6. All of that is being multiplied by that y. Add these together, subtract, whichever way you want to do your order of operations. Grab your calculator if you need to, and you get 6y. So my answer here, 6y. My answer over here, 14x to the third. Down here, looking at our letters, we see that the only letter that shows up is an x. But on each of those x's we have, well, not each of them, but a couple of them we have different exponents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the ones that have x to the 4. That has x to the 2, not a like term. That doesn't have an x at all, not a like term. That has an x to the 4, so that is a like term with this first one over here. So I'm going to gather them together. I have 1/6 x to the 4 minus 1/2 x to the 4. Moving to my next letter, or my next term, I see x squared. So I'm going to look for x squared. No x at all. There's an x squared. So I'm combining those two. So I have the minus 1/7 x squared and minus, take the add or subtract whichever is in front of that term, minus 3/7 x squared. And then I'm going for whatever my next term is, plus 5. No x there at all. Go through, it's done, it's done. No x there at all. So I add that in. So I have 3 sets of like terms. There are 3 different problems. I'm going to do just this first one first. 1/6 minus 1/2. I need a common denominator, or if you have a fraction button on your calculator, do that. That's fine. Common denominator is 6. I have to multiply this by 3/3 to get that 6, because 2 times 3 is 6. And what I do on the bottom, I have to do on the top. So I have 1/6 plus 3/6 times x to the 4. And that is not plus, that is minus, because it's written as a minus there. Be careful when you do your math. 1/6 minus 3/6 is 2/6. And that has that x to the 4 on it. Moving to my next part. This is my x to the 2. I see that both of these are minus. So I know, without having to do any work, that I am going to have a minus sign there. Now I have to figure out 1/7, 3/7. I already have my common denominator. So this is minus 4/7. I take away 1, I take away 3, total take away 4. That has the x squared on it. Moving to the last part over here, my constants, plus 5 plus 1/3. Use your calculator if you need to. It's plus 5 and 1/3. I look at this to see, can I reduce any of the fractions? Can I clean anything up? Did I miss combining something? Okay. Reducing fractions. Yes, I can reduce this right here. That becomes 1/3. So I have to write the whole thing over again. X to the 4th minus 4/7 cannot be reduced. X squared plus 5 and 1/3 cannot be reduced. So now I have my answer on that bottom line down there. And this problem is done. So I go to my next problem. And I make room for it. Remember, you can pause the video at any time to try to figure these things out again. So the next problem is x squared y plus xy minus y plus 10x squared y minus 2y plus xy. So, looking at this, it looks like a bit of a mess. Yeah, seriously, it does. But we're going to straighten it out. We're going to look at it and we're going to make it make sense. First thing I'm going to look at is, why not just start at the start? X squared y. Look for anything else that has an x squared on it. That has an x squared on it. Look at the next letter with it, y. No written exponent assumed to be 1. So x squared y. These are like terms. So I am going to group these two together. Notice when I'm grouping it with it, when I'm taking this to move it, I'm taking my sign with the term. So we have x squared y plus 10x squared y. And I can combine that. I'm going to hold off a little bit though. Plus xy. I look for anything else that has both x and y, but no exponents on them. Just a y, just a y. That has both x and y, and there are no exponents on either of them. So I have my plus xy and my plus xy. I don't need to write the exponent. Then I have what I have left. Minus y, take the minus with the y, minus 2y. Now I can combine this stuff. No coefficient written. Remember, you're allowed to multiply it 1 in any of these. So I'm going to multiply that 1 in. So I have 1 plus 10 gives me 11x x squared y. Going over here, no coefficient, I multiply a 1 in, doesn't change anything. No coefficient, I multiply a 1 in, doesn't change anything. Add my coefficients together, I get positive 2, bring down my x, y. Looking at this last one, no coefficient written, I'm allowed to multiply that 1 in there. So now I have negative 1 minus 2 gives me negative 3. So this is minus 3y. Double check. Is there anything else I can combine here? X squared y, xy, y? No. It's all combined as it can be. So this is my answer for this problem. Now I go to my next problem. If you have questions about this, let me know, either in the comments section on the video or by email. If you are in my class, please use my email. So now we are going to be adding sets of polynomials. We have open parentheses, 3x minus 8, close parentheses, plus open parentheses, 4x squared minus 3x plus 3. So I have a polynomial, a binomial, plus a polynomial. This is a trinomial because it has 3 terms in it. So like triangle, trinomial. Binomial, 2. I am adding these. So I'm going to distribute my addition sign into everything behind the parentheses until I reach my closing parentheses. Because it's addition, it doesn't change anything. So I may as well just get rid of my parentheses on there and add it as though it's just one great big long polynomial to be combined. When doing these, typically we go from the highest exponent on the first letter of the alphabet. Only letter here is x, so I look for my highest exponent, x squared. That is going to be my first one. It's plus, so we're going to assume positive. Don't need to write the positive. We then go to the next lower exponent. We have an understood 1 there, so I'm taking my 3x. It's a positive, so I assume a plus sign. And then I have another x term with no exponent, so I copy that down, minus 3x. Take the sign in front of the constant, in front of the coefficient. Then I go with my minus 8. And my plus 3. Nothing to combine here, so it just gets carried down. So we have 4x squared plus 3x minus 3x. We have plus 3 minus 3. That gives us 0. So we have plus 0x minus 8 plus 3. That gives us minus 5. I do not need to write that in there, so my answer is just 4x squared minus 5. And that problem is done. Next problem. 5x squared plus 4 inside the first set of parentheses. 5x squared plus 4 minus sign, open a new set of parentheses, negative 2y squared plus 4. Negative 2y squared plus 4. So with this one, instead of having the plus sign there, now we have a minus sign. So this is important here. The plus sign, okay. Kind of important, yes. But this one is really, you have to pay attention and be careful with distributing this. So I'm going to take this, treat it like it's a negative 1, and I am going to multiply it in to each of my other terms here. And that is going to change those terms to the opposite of what they are. So I have my 5x squared plus 4. The minus gets distributed in with the negative here, becomes a plus. 2y, the minus gets distributed in with the plus and becomes a minus. And I bring down my 4. Now I want to look for like terms. First letter of the alphabet is the X, so that's going to be my first thing that I write. 5x squared. Do I have any other x squareds in here? No, no other x's whatsoever. So then I go to my next letter of the alphabet. That's my 2y there. So I have plus 2y. Anything else? Okay, that one's done, that one's done. Anything else with a y in it? No. So I go to my constant, plus 4. My other constant, minus 4. Any like terms to be combined here? Yes. I have my two constants here. Plus 4, minus 4. They cancel each other out. And I am left with 5x squared plus 2y for my answer. Take that. I look for my next question. And it is a longer one. We have, open parentheses, negative 7x squared. Plus 4x plus 7. Close parentheses. Minus, open parentheses, 8x plus 2. So once again, I am subtracting a polynomial from another polynomial. I have to be careful about distributing this into those other two terms. So if I distribute that, there's no sign written, so it's assumed to be positive. Multiply it in, becomes negative. Multiply the minus into the plus, negative 1 times plus something becomes minus again. So I'm just going to copy this down without my parentheses, and with that, distribute it in. So negative 7x squared plus 4x plus 7 minus 8x minus 2. First letter of the alphabet, the only letter there, x. Highest exponent on that, x squared. So I have negative 7x squared. No exponent written, assumed to be 1, so I have plus 4x. So that one's done, that one's done. find anything else with a x on it. That's that one. Take the minus sign with it. So minus 8x. That one's done. What's left? Plus 7 minus 2. That's done. That's done. Sometimes it helps to put those check marks or circle them or something to let yourself know that you've already gotten that one. That way you're not repeating it and you're not missing it. Do I have any terms that need to be combined? Yes. Yes, I do. These both have x to no exponent, and then these have no x's in them. Constant terms. So my minus 7x squared, negative 7x squared, just gets carried forward. I combine these, plus 4 minus 8 gives me minus 8, gets the x with it. Use your calculator if you need to figure that out. Plus 7 minus 2 gives me plus 5. Again, use your calculator if you need to help you get that done. Double check. Can I combine anything else? Did I miss any terms? No, I am done. That is my answer. Then I go to the next question. Open parentheses, negative a squared plus 1. Close parentheses. Minus, open parentheses, a squared minus 3. Close parentheses. Plus, open parentheses, 5a squared minus 6a plus 7. I have to distribute in this minus sign. I have to distribute in the plus sign. Plus sign isn't that important, but we do have to worry about this. Plus sign's not going to change any of my signs inside. That's why I say it's not important. It's not that it's not important, it's just that it's not changing my signs. So I take that in, gives me now minus, take it into that, gives me a plus. Now I can carry everything down. So I have negative a squared plus 1 minus a squared plus 3 plus 5a squared minus 6a plus 7. And like I said, the plus sign here is not changing any of my signs on those terms. The minus sign, however, did. I'm going to line up my like terms. This is a step you can skip if you're advanced enough. I have an a squared term, so I'm going to line up all of my a squared. Minus a squared, done. Minus a squared, done. Plus 5a squared, done. Anything with just an a to no exponent. No letter, there. That's a minus 6a, no exponent on that. That one's done. No other, just a with no exponent. So I go to my constants, plus 1. That's done. Plus 3. That's done. That's done. That's done. Plus 7. That's done. Now that I have everything lined up, I can combine like terms. So I'm going to, in my head, I am splitting this up into its like terms. So that I know I'm only working with this when I'm combining. That's already done, and then when I combine them, I'm only working with them. So minus, multiply the 1 in, minus, multiply the 1 in, minus 1a squared, minus 1a squared, plus 5a squared. So I have negative 1, minus 1, plus 5, all being multiplied by a squared, which gives me 3a squared. Carry down my minus 6a. Go over here, add these together. Plus 1, plus 3, plus 7, that gives me plus 11. Double check. Did I catch all of my terms? Yes. I did get the minus sign distributed in. Yes. And I've combined everything. Nothing left to combine. I have my answer. Done. Okay, and that finishes up this section, and I will make a fresh tape for the next section. There's a mosquito in the room.